Hello, 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 Vibers. I thought I would do this very quick live. And interestingly, I was speaking to a group last week talking about the difference between video and live and saying that when you go live, if you can do 10 minutes or more, then traction builds. You know, once upon a time, I know that Ivona, Ian, Alan will remember back in the day when Facebook Live first came to the UK, because our Australian and American friends had it before we did. The minute you went live, it would literally tell everyone you were connected to that you were going live. Whereas now, it takes a little bit of warming up. But today is Monday, and it's officially my day off today. I've had a long weekend, been celebrating weddings, and what else have I been doing? I had a hectic week last week. I've got a busy week coming up next week, and I thought it'd be nice to have a break in the middle of it, especially as I've changed up my schedule. So anyway, I wanted to come and talk to you today about this gorgeous hot weather. Now, wherever you sit in this weather conversation, whether you're of the opinion of the global warming part of it, which if you are and you've got interesting stuff to share, I know that some of you, your work is environmental, do share it in here. Whether you're of the opinion that we Brits moan too much about when it gets hot and we can't take if it's too hot, too cold, share in here, but share compassionately. Yes, subjectively, but compassionately. If you have something to say on that, maybe if your business is around that, and if you think that it's more of a control thing, a panic thing to get people to do what they want, I'd be interested in hearing your opinions, especially, as I say, if it's part of what you do, because all opinions are important, all voices matter. Just be kind with your comments. Anyway, I wanted to share, because I was thinking about this over the weekend. Personally, I've always said I'd rather have heat than freezing. I'd rather be hot than cold. And perhaps it's my Caribbean roots, I don't know. But I love the warm weather, I really do. And it amazes me that I've spent 5 decades living in the UK, if you don't count the years I worked abroad in sunnier climes. So here's what I was thinking about yesterday. The perspective that I am coming from in terms of the weather and stuff are for all of you business owners. Now, I know that some of you are business owners and you work, some of you purely business owners, and some of you have got jobs and work, and that's all okay. What I wanted to do, oops, someone's sending me a message, they're going to take me up on something. Sounds exciting. What I wanted to do, regardless of where you are in your business, is think about a different element of visibility, i.e. how you show up as the manager, the business owner, the leader of your business. So imagine this, if you're a solopreneur, like, you know, one-man band business, you'll need to kind of like think about this with a different hat on, as really am I. If you have a team, there'll be a slightly different take on this. And if you are a SME, which some of my clients are, then there'll be an even kind of like bigger piece. SME as in not subject matter expert, as in small, medium enterprise, not subject matter expert. Here's where I'm going with this. So as we were warned, I guess is the best way to put it, in the press and in the media about these warmer climes, it made me think, what, if anything, am I going to do differently in my business to accommodate the heat? Am I going to stay locked up inside? Am I going to do business as usual? Am I going to put any provisions in place? And it's really interesting. And very recently I did a talk for the Chamber of Commerce, and one of the questions I asked people in the room was, imagine your business could speak. What would it tell you? So if you want to have some fun and answer this question, it helps to tap in more creatively to something that you may have not have thought about before. So as the temperatures rose, I thought, well, I love the heat, but I do remember my time in financial services where I worked in an office which had no air conditioning, and it was baking hot. And by the time kind of lunchtime had passed, you know, some of my colleagues were were saying that, if they were sheep and they were being transported, that it would be illegal to be in a container this hot. And it made me wonder, what could companies and businesses do? So here's the split. If you're a small, medium enterprise, I think of a couple of my clients, one of them that's based on 3 continents, actually. And I think about this 3 continents. One of them who's based just solely in the UK, but they definitely have a team of more than 10 people. One of them about 25. As the leader of that company, and this taps into visibility as how you show up authentically and integrity to the people that work for you, to the people around you. What would you do to relieve any kind of, or make the working environment still fun, if that's what it is, still accommodating and a great place to work, even in hot weather? And the reason that I think about this is I think back to, as an employee, I actually partnered as an employee with a particular company. It was part of our framework was partnership lending. They called it partnership lending. So I would go out and sit in clients' offices. And there was one particular client that I actually did a really long-term partnership with. I think it was 8 or 9 months. It was a long time. So I spent most Monday to Fridays away from home and then went back again. Probably not very good for marriages, but that's what I did, and it worked at the time. And when I went and worked in this office, what struck me about the director who owned the business, he had a really good office manager in place, really good team leaders in place. And even though he was quite an astute businessman, believed in the processes, believed in the people, he was really great at getting the best out of people. And one of his ways of doing that was every Friday they would finish early and have drinks. He literally had a drinks trolley. And one of my current clients does this as well, with a slightly smaller team. Had a drinks trolley, and what he would do was he would say to people, look, if you're driving, obviously don't drink and drive, take something home with you. And he did have non-alcoholic stuff as well, but take something with you that you can enjoy when you get home. That was one of the things he did. The other things he did was he threw the best Christmas parties, so really looked after those. And on a day like today, I was thinking back, on a day like today, he would most likely have been making sure that there was even more water on site, things to drink, ice creams and all of that kind of good stuff. And I reckon had he have been here today, because unfortunately he passed, I also think he would definitely have really got into the working from home piece as well. So that's the kind of SME part of it, small, medium enterprises. So if that's your business, or even a business you're aspiring to be or grow into, start thinking about that now. What would you be doing in terms of the heat, in terms of extreme cold, wind, or anything else like that, to really accommodate the business and the people who serve your clients? You might even be thinking about what you would do from a customer service element for your actual clients as well, as a small, medium enterprise. If you have a team of people, maybe it's a handful, 5 or less, same question goes to you. Now, if you're a one-man band business owner, solo director or sole director or managing director of your company, I think this is just as important, because what I see a lot of people do in their bid to be even more visible is nose to the grindstone, work themselves into the ground, and don't often think about what they want to do for themselves. I think this is really important. So even if it's just you, which is what brought me onto this topic in the first place at the weekend, I thought, well, what am I going to do in terms of the heat and stuff? I've got an award ceremony to go to in the week. I've got calls to make. I can kind of sit outside in my home. I could go to the park, as you know, it's my favourite place to be, but I can do anything. Even when other people might kind of infer that you can't, you have to do this, you have to stay here or whatever. So one of the things that I did was I bought myself some really nice ice creams. My favourite ice creams, Soleros, actually, as it happens. I do like the odd cornetto too. I don't know if Jane is in this group, but Jane, Ty and I went out to Greenwich Park many years ago and had a magic manifestation moment where I'd said, oh, wouldn't it be great if they served ice creams here? And literally those words, as they fell out of my mouth, this random guy appeared with this big cooler and said, oh, you know, local supermarket, well-known brand in the UK, we've decided for the hot weather to give out free ice creams. And unfortunately, there's only 2 left, but fortunately, there's 2 of you. And he was like, I say this because one's chocolate and vanilla and one's strawberry, so you just got to decide between you who wants which. So we very graciously received this freebie from big supermarket. And after he went, I remember Jane and I having this conversation where she's like, that you just said, wouldn't it be nice to have some ice creams? Ping! And they appeared. So we had a bit of a chortle around that, and our command at being able to get what we wanted and what we needed. We won't go into what we could have wished for or asked for afterwards. But here's the thing, even if you're a business owner who's highly visible, highly seen, highly contented, it's not always about the struggle and the worry. Sometimes it's about the dreams, the desires, your aspirations, or what you wish for. Start putting them in place now. It's a lot easier to start putting them in place now. And you can even add to that list, write it down, type it down. You can add to the list so that you get even more clarity as you go through on what you would do, you know, in a way that works for your business, in a way that works for being visible, in a way that's still profitable. So start thinking now about your future business. And very recently I was listening to somebody who was talking about, does it serve you now and does it serve you later? If it just serves you now, it might not be something that you want to do. If it serves you now and later, it might be something that you want to implement. And in my eyes, regardless of whether you class yourself as a small business owner or otherwise, nobody is ever too small to ask for what they want, create what they want, do what they want, be who they want, act in the way that they want right now. This is really important. So if this is you, what would you like to do? Now, the spin on it that I mentioned at the beginning of this video is, if you're not sure what to write, this isn't a right or wrong exercise. It isn't a head exercise. It isn't a brain exercise. But if you feel unsure about what you want to write, try writing it from the point of view. If you asked your business what it would do, who it would do it with, how and who, then what would it say? What would it say? And write that down. You'll be amazed at what comes to you. More than anything, I hope you're enjoying the weather. I am going to share this video on YouTube, but I also wanted to say, which will mean nothing to the people on YouTube, but I also wanted to say that I know Alan's in London today. So for those of you Vibers who've enjoyed Alan's humour, can't get my teeth in today, Alan's humour, Alan's posts, his shares, maybe you've met him before at one of my events or one of somebody else's events. I know he's a regular attendee of Ivona's events as well. And even if you've never met him before, it's worth, if you can get yourself down to Stratford, worth going to see him and meet up with him there. All the details are in his post. I will put a link to his post underneath this, apart from if you're on YouTube, I won't. But it'd be really nice for you Vibers to gather together and get to meet Alan in person. He has got an amazing life story. I always say this, but if you're in a room with him and can ask him about his life story, you will be completely and totally stunned in such a good way. Anyway, so hopefully helpful, you know, continue to do visibility your way, do it differently, be different, think different, and you will definitely have different results. But use the current surroundings to think about in terms of what you do. What might you put in place for the future you of your business? So, sorry, another message coming through. So, absolutely be unapologetic with what you want to do as you navigate your business, as you become more visible moving forward. I'd love to hear if anything kind of new springs up, what comes to you. Feel free to share them in the comments below. Remember that in this group, anything you share in this group remains in this group, and doesn't get seen by Great Aunt Nellie or anyone else like that. And I look forward, sorry, messages coming up and I keep scrolling them back. I look forward to hearing, what you share in here. I'm just going to make sure. So anyway, happy Monday to you all. I will attempt to share with you a bit of like what is going on with my week, if and where I can. But thank you so much for those of you who have been tuning in. A couple of other things, if you're still listening to this so far, I'm going to be on Clubhouse for the next few weeks on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Central European time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I think it is 7 a.m. Pacific time. And for those of you in Australia, in Hong Kong, in India, I'm not too sure what time it is, but just double check against those times. Now, the reason that I bring this up is in Clubhouse, I will be doing a kind of a pick my brains room around visibility. So any questions that you might have, you'll need to come in live. Unfortunately, I won't be recording the rooms for replay there. I might make a recording, although Clubhouse's rules are that you're not supposed to record rooms, so I might not. I might kind of double stream. But it's a really good opportunity, because I know that when I see many people in the flesh, they're like, oh, Jenny, you've been doing loads of speaking gigs recently. I've actually been speaking for 12 years. And in the last couple of years, I average 3 to 4 speaking gigs a month, whether they're interviews as well as live in-person speaking and online speaking or trainings. So people have been asking me a lot about that. People have been asking me how they can be more visible without being tied to their computer or their screen or indoors, how they can take what they do out, how they can cope with being visible over the summer holidays, how to share something that feels like it's a negative message. I'm just trying to remember some of the questions off the top of my head. So I'll be happy to answer them, but more than anything, happy to answer your questions. And as Vibers who wanted to be more visible, I would love you to be part of that. I'd love you to be in the rooms. I'd love it if somebody asked me a question about health and well-being or trauma, about, connecting and building networks, about networking, about becoming sober, about book writing. All of those things are not my areas of expertise. They're not my zone of genius. So it'd be really great if you could join me and be one of those people that answers a question in your area of expertise. And the great thing with Clubhouse is you don't even have to be on screen. So you can be in your pajamas or in your garden for all that anyone knows. So I'd really love you to take part in that. And also on a Tuesday, I actually will be streaming live to my business page, the Queen of Being Seen page, but moving forward, really streaming live onto my YouTube channel. So again, I'll be covering a little topic every week and delving deeper in that. And I do that because it gives you access to some of this visibility that's different, visibility made easy, and some of my work. And for those of you that have expressed that really want to get into it and I'd like to work with you one day, it just gives you access to a smaller chunk of the work, which hopefully helps you on your visibility journey. So with that to say, I'm going to wrap up. Do let me know what your business tells you to do in the comments below, or what you might implement or change in your business, or even what you might keep the same. And shout out to, on this day at the time of recording, I know it's Amanda's birthday as well, so happy birthday to Amanda. Anyway, that's it for now. Looking forward to seeing your comments and reading your comments. Looking forward to hearing about your meetup and what you share there. And also looking forward to seeing some of you live on YouTube and live in Clubhouse. Bye for now.